They're doing some kind of volunteer plant swap, like a surplus plant swap in
1 minute.
1 more minute.
somewhere.
Okay.
We got 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you guys are at our quorum.
We got 5.
Is that a
You have 6.
Yeah. Who are
6?
1, 2, 3, 4,
Yep.
5, 6.
it's a day? No.
I hear that, no
Thank you.
worries.
But who's counting?
Yeah, we're good.
Anybody
Oh, oops, that's the wrong
zooming
one.
in from afar
No,
tonight?
Christine, I know, told me that she's gonna be joining virtually. And we have Matthew.
Matthew.
Okay, let's get rolling here. It's about 6:30, so I'd like to call the meeting to order, and we start with a roll call, and maybe we'll start with Logan and go counterclockwise.
Logan Dunning, member, present.
Shelley Oren, member, present.
Rick Emmelheinz, member, present.
Matt Fitzgerald, member, present.
Joe Anderson, council liaison.
Frangipani, member, present.
Mel Englund, liaison present.
Okay.
And Matt, you're Matt online.
Oh, I'm sorry, Matthew.
Matthew Schultz, member present.
Welcome, Matthew.
We're good.
So thank you, everybody. Do we have any guests tonight? I think we're all here by our lonesome. Okay, well, let's move on to approval of minutes. Any discussion or clarifications? Your motion to approve?
Yeah, I'll motion to approve the October 2023 minutes.
Second.
And a second? All those in favor? Say aye.
Hi.
Aye. Opposed, nay? Thank you. Okay, let's get going here. Item 5, upcoming tasks and events. The first issue is communications subcommittee update. Logan and company, take it away.
That's us. So we, as a subcommittee, brought to you last month a list of ideas that we pared down for content that we'd like to include in the spring magazine, winter one. We did narrow it down. So myself, we want to do an intro paragraph, who we are, sort of just a quick, well, I'm long-winded, you'll see. We got to dial this back a little bit, but just to who we are and why we exist, which I'd like some help from you all, some input. Cara was tasked with a blurb about the Audubon Nature Society Challenge, which she has put together with a fancy QR code, which I want for mine. Maybe you can help me with that. And then Mel, you were running point on the turf replacement blurb with a photo, maybe some testimony, possibly from Tracy, who I'm not sure if she's joining us tonight or
And
not.
that's in the newsletter already, the sustainability one.
Okay. And then we can go from there. So Cara and I have put our proposed language together. I wanted to spend the next 12-ish minutes vetting that in front of you all as a commission, getting your feedback and finalizing that. And once we have content approved and voted on by this commission, we will send it over to the city's communications team and let them run with it. And then I'm sure there will be some back and forth if they have any questions for us. So I'm excited. I don't know what they're going to put together, but they've got a good team. So I totally hijacked Cara's document here. It starts with Cara, so we can start. We can start here. It doesn't matter to me. Mine's below. But what do you think, Cara? You just want to
Yeah, that's fine.
dive into what you've got here?
First one is just talking about the BioBlitz program through the City Nature Challenge. It actually has its own website, which I did not realize. Lots of information out there. It started in California and has grown to be this global community-based science project. It's pretty cool. So the blurb kind of came from the two websites between citynaturechallenge.org and the Audubon Society. And then there's a link to the City Nature Challenge, and then if you scroll down, there's a link to the iNaturalist app. I honestly don't know if these things work, but
Let's find
I'm
out.
hoping the communications department can help with that.
They can, yeah, they can absolutely.
So, but on the blurb, if anybody had any,
Okay, cool. The first one works.
Scroll back up.
Oh, sorry.
I want to see the wording if we can again.
Logan, are you okay if I?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm actually reading what the first one brought up.
yeah.
So a question for you while y'all are reading that. Whenever I used the first QR code and I scrolled, it says sign up today. So we would be doing the participants, right? And there's also a cities.
So I think the cities is to like register your city.
Yeah.
The participants is like you're a participant, Englewood's already.
Already
I
in.
think like Denver metro area is registered basically, so we fall under the Denver.
So we'd be falling under which poll.
Yeah.
Nice.
So there's nothing on the city side of setting up that account, right? Or do you want us to look into setting up the City of Englewood account?
I don't think there's anything we need to do. I mean, if somebody wants to just double check with like the Audubon Society, I'm pretty sure it's Denver metro area.
Maybe that would be something to add to it then, like add on to Denver Metro participant, since it's not as.
2024 Denver Metro Nature Challenge is is like what it's called.
Oh, okay.
But
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
Move the part about the looking at the species toward the top. Because they think that you want to kind of hit them with what this is about. Do something about, hey, this is an opportunity for you and your family and friends to look at nature and find, do something which kind of maybe makes it a little more popping at the beginning,
sure.
and then go into the detail toward the end.
Yeah.
She said move nature to the top.
And full disclosure, I don't think we know like what communications we'll do to this after we give it to them, so it could change again.
In your
But
defense, no department does. We always
Yeah.
submit stories and they get to pull what they want, so
Yeah.
I feel that pain.
I'm signing up just to see how user friendly this is. Let's see. What's that username we're even taking? That's Any thoughts on the content here?
Like,
It's good.
Pretty straightforward, informational.
and a lot of this, I'll be honest, came like straight from the websites themselves, so it's pretty straightforward.
And there is an app. So I think we talked about that last time. iNaturalist.
and that'll all be explained in the communication of.
That's the hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, download the app and that's how you that's how my understanding is the information's crowdsourced.
Yeah,
Cool.
Is you just
exactly.
open it
There's
up,
nothing to
snap
do,
a pic.
you just use the app, and then somehow on the backside, they're able to source all the photos that were logged for that specific area or city or region or whatever, so.
Oh, that's cool.
That's neat.
I would implore a little homework if we could all give it a try. Maybe next month we can come back. Or when does it go live?
Not till April.
April?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got time to get all this set up. How'd you create the QR code? Did you just Google? how
There's
to make
literally a
QR code?
website, like.
QR code
create-
generator.
Yeah, QR
I've
code
used it.
generator.
Right click and create a QR
Okay,
code.
love that. I'm the worst millennial. Okay, that's good to know.
Cool.
Do you want me to scroll down, Logan? or-
Yeah, let's go to the intro language. So this is what I really like. Some feedback was, I misspelled something. This is just me talking. So I'll read it.
Yeah.
And then we can either condense it or reshuffle things, whatever. This is just a very rough draft. Introductory language. Hello, we are the Englewood Sustainability Commission, formerly Keep Englewood Beautiful. This commission exists to pursue and further city-level efforts in the sustainability space. We are passionate about all things sustainability and want to see Inglewood not only maintain its natural beauty, but also enhance livability and quality of life for all citizens. We accomplish this by, and I highlighted that because this is where I'd really like some input, by representing and elevating the community's collective voice on these topics, and by engaging citizens to keep them informed about ongoing sustainability efforts across our city. So that's the intro. Then I give a little bit more information about how you can get involved. This commission gathers for regularly scheduled meetings on the second Tuesday of the month, starting at 6:30 p.m. Join us, listen in, voice your thoughts, and let us know what sustainability-related efforts you would like to see become a priority for the city. Scan the QR code below to access our program page online, view meeting minutes and agendas, or subscribe to the sustainability newsletter. You can also contact Inglewood's sustainability coordinator, Mel, at any time. Anytime.
Day or night.
Day or night. Not put your-
I turned my phone off, baby.
I did not put your phone in there. Thanks for reading, and we hope to hear from you soon. So that's generally what I put together. Christine is going to red mark this, it sounds like. Christine is present.
Hi, Christine.
Second, take it away.
I think it sounds great. I would suggest in the last line of that first paragraph, ongoing sustainability efforts and opportunities across our city.
Like it? Can you add that? Mel, can you type in that?
I
Or
have
is
to
it
sign
me?
in for it.
Oh, I got it right
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Again, we're still now. Ongoing sustainability efforts and opportunities across our city.
Can we put anything in there about the responsibility we have to recommend or to do something associated with the council?
That crossed my mind.
Hasn't seemed to be in there.
Yeah, I'd like to add a sentence.
About to add, because this commission exists to advise the city. It doesn't exist purely to pursue other efforts. Like you all really should, we have this sustainability plan and we all have to act within that sustainability plan because that's what council adopted. So yeah, and I think advising in there. And not even just advise city council, I would say advise the city as a whole of like what about sustainability.
Uh-huh.
What do you think about, the pursue and further? That's kind of a mouthful.
Yeah,
Just maybe to further,
either further or pursue, but don't.
don't do both,
Yeah.
kind of repetitive. Okay.
Yeah.
Rick, one second, Matt, I see your hand raised. That did cross my mind, but I felt like I had enough content to bring to you all. I don't know where we'd want to put that.
Well, I think you did by putting in the city.
Is that
I think that was
sufficient?
sufficient.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, good. Matt, what's up?
Yeah, this looks good. I think my only call out would be, I'm not sure if we still need to or how long we should continue to mention that we used to be keeping Inglewood beautiful, because at this point is several years in the past. And so just a general thought there. And then the other idea is, if the Audubon Society thing has 2 QR codes, not sure if we want to have a third QR code in the same newsletter for 3 different things. So I would say maybe just to decide which ones we want the QR codes on or not.
I've been a little QR code crazy lately, I guess. Good points. I know we had that was a part of our original discussion, was having a QR code to link to our Inglewood Engaged page. That's where our program is hosted online. If we don't think there's a need for that, I can just say, visit our Inglewood Engaged page or something to that effect.
And we can also, in the first one, like, take out the first QR code to the website and just spell out the website, like, learn more here at
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
citynatureChallenge.org. Download the app here, like with the QR code, because it's sometimes hard for people to find apps, but
True.
so we can take one out.
I can link that stuff to the Inglewood Engaged page if there's that one, if there's that one QR code to the Inglewood Engaged page that lists the Sustainability Commission, they can also find the iNaturalist.
Oh yeah, that's a really good idea.
Okay, so we don't have to duplicate efforts.
Yeah.
I can make that change, I guess, online, but it's not. Can you scroll up, Mel?
Yes. Like to the QR
To
codes?
cars, yeah, to
Okay.
cars. Okay. We wanted to remove the first. Cara?
Yeah, I think you can just list the website, or to Mel's point, like, for the entire half page, like just one QR code to the Inglewood sustainability page.
Mhm.
And there we'll have like City Nature Challenge, a link to download the iNaturalist app. Like you can plug it all in on our page. So there's just one QR code sending them to basically the website.
Yeah, I think that's great. It's efficient. I did notice when I visited Inglewood Engaged today, the sustainability program is the last thing on that page. And I don't know if we can do anything about that, but it's a lot of scrolling. And I mean, analytics will tell you that it's
I think they have,
it's a deterrent to have to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll.
I think that's because they have active projects at the top, and I could be totally wrong. They have active projects at top that they want the community to know about, and then Madeline has a neighborhood resource program, and I have a sustainability program, Englewood Engage page, and because they're program and long-term, they tend to go to the bottom because there isn't that like urgent project at the top. But I can definitely ask communications about it.
Yeah, just while we're promoting it, especially early like this, I think it would be good visibility. I mean, if that can be bumped up or even put in like the margin or something somewhere. I don't know. But I do like the idea of one QR code that takes you to the sustainability of the city program on the website. So we can make that change. Let me see.
Can we add, pardon me, can we add a location, it'll be down below, for this? It doesn't necessarily have to be this room, but it should maybe be the city center. That's where we meet.
Or online?
Our meeting, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it says we gather for regular scheduled meetings the second Tuesday, starting at 6:30 p.m.
Say at the city
Oh, on the
center,
Engage, yeah.
so people know where to come.
Okay. Okay. So we'll remove the 2 QR codes. We'll have 1. Check. Any other thoughts, edits to either the introductory language or the Audubon Nature Challenge? Okay, Christine shaking her head.
Yeah, I think they look good.
Yeah. Councilman, any thoughts? Solid? Okay.
Everybody happy?
I think so. So whenever I had, scroll down for me, well, wait a second. I had the "we accomplish this by" highlighted. Last thought, is that sentence sufficient? How we achieve our goal? Is that accurate? Would you say that's accurate? Good.
I think so.
Okay. So this will now go to, okay, so the third thing, Mel, chime in here. For the third piece was a turf replacement blurb, but that's all, you said that's already.
That's gonna be in, and you guys all have it on the very back of the packet. You all have this newsletter that is gonna go out tomorrow for National Recycling Day, the kickoff of the newsletter. Tracy's contribution is page 2. If you flip it, so your front and the back. So it says city awarded turf replacement grant 2nd year in a row. And then the picture that is also here is from Tracy as well.
Why am I completely blind and not getting this? Oh, I got it right here.
Yeah. The back.
So this goes out via email to everyone who is,
Signed up for the sustainability Inglewood Engage page. So if you have neighbors who are like, I want to keep in the loop with what the city's doing, if they just add their email to that, they'll get this quarterly.
okay. So I think this is a fairly good example. This is Elevate Inglewood's most recent class. I feel like this is kind of what we're looking at in terms of what size we're getting in the next magazine. Totally workable. We'll leave that up to the comms team. Is this too, I mean, this is fairly word heavy, but I think they can make it look nice. Is that sufficient? The Nature Challenge and the intro language. Would we want to add anything? Is anything pressing? Do we want
Jumping around, I just wondered, when Mel talks about the low income energy efficiency, should those links or messages or ideas be included in sustainability?
Yeah.
Spot.
to, yeah, I'd love to send the city's communications team maybe a little bit more and have them dial it back.
Do you want me to add the turf part to the newsletter part 2 of the magazine? Or did you want that just in the newsletter? That's the only part I didn't know.
Well, my thought process was that this would be in the magazine. Looking at all three, I don't know how we have.
Can we bullet point them and just put them in there as highlights of what are available on the site?
If you all want to make kind of like 2 versions, you know, like this bigger one if they have space and then an abbreviated one, or I can try and pitch to them like if they could kind of work a smaller one.
I
The
think any
communications team
redundancy
is-
is good.
I would agree with that.
I mean, it doesn't have to be identical redundancy, but I would, if we hone our message, it's okay to repeat ourselves.
Yeah. If we could synthesize this, like, you know, I don't know what you want to call it. We can brand it whatever we want. Like Inglewood in the news or, recent developments, whatever you want to name it, and just have a bullet that includes a link. The city was awarded turf replacement grants 2nd year in a row. Learn more here. And then it links to resources. Cool?
In
That'd
the
be cool.
magazine, you want links?
Well, visit, like Cara was saying, like, if it's a simple website or whatever, you can say, check it out, www.
Right,
whatever.
okay.
If it's not a super long website.
Yeah.
Or just visit the
You could
city's.
do the turf replacements, you could do the energy efficiency thing as a bullet point. Just kind of, like you said, put a few more things in there so people know that there's other information on the site.
I need to find when, I think content was due the first week of December. I'd like to know that there will be some back and forth between the development of at least this first page and the city's communications team. Or is it just us handing off potential content and they just run with it and publish it?
Since you're the chair of the subcommittee, I can work with Vanessa, who oversees the magazine, and see if it can just be kind of like a direct between us 3
Love it.
to maybe make it easier.
Yeah. Any final thoughts? Or can we vote on the approval of this initial content?
I think that would make sense.
I motion to approve the initial content
For the magazine.
for the magazine.
Second?
Do we have a second?
Cara.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Excellent. Great work, you guys.
Hi, Tracy.
Great work.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm looking forward to working with, was it Vanessa?
Yes, yeah.
And seeing what we can get together. I have full confidence.
Don't drive her too crazy, though.
No, they love communication stuff. That's her
Oh, she's
jam.
good. I'm worried about this.
I will. I'll let them do their thing.
Thanks, Luke.
They're the professionals. Okay.
All right. Onward and upward. Go ahead, Mel. It's your show.
All right, my computer of all the days is deciding to run the slowest today, so bear with me. But while that's loading up, so I'm really excited to be sharing the draft emphasis on draft low income energy efficiency strategy with you all. Let me share my screen really fast. This has been quite a work in progress, but I want you all to know the biggest way that you all can help the city right now is tear this puppy apart. Say what you like, say what you don't like. It's not like this is going to City Council next month, right? Like this is our draft form. We want to get your feedback, what you think, and yeah. I'm also going to say, just because there's a lot of information here, I think it's best if we just hold discussion for the end. So if you have questions, jot them down. I just think it'll make for a more efficient use of time. All right, so we are going to go over kind of the background of this project, how it relates to current city plans. We're going to go over what the energy burden is and what it looks like in Englewood, the process for this project / strategy, what available and low-income energy efficiency programs that were identified, and then what Englewood's participation in those programs look like in 2022. I'm going to go over the results from our outreach. We're going to highlight the 4 case studies found within the plan, which all are from Colorado, so they're local case studies around folks doing low-income energy efficiency programs. And then we're going to go over the Englewood's proposed strategy and then open it up for discussion. All right, so for the background, so in April 2022, the sustainability plan, as part of the strategic plan, all of it, had some updates to the Sustainability Commission, added some projects in there. This was actually a project I recommended to have in there. I just noticed kind of this lack of projects around helping low income with climate change, energy efficiency kind of projects. So this is found in the energy priority area for the sustainability plan, specifically to create an energy efficiency outreach and education plan or strategy around reaching low income areas to alleviate energy burden. So just to highlight here that this plan is really for how are we doing that outreach for energy efficiency for low-income communities. This also inadvertently kind of touches on, but does not solve, but touches on a little bit that investigate ways to help renters benefit from energy efficiency upgrades and retrofits, which I believe was Stephen's contribution to the updates in 2022, which is awesome to see. And then it also touches on, again, doesn't solve our metric and our sustainability plan for % reduction in carbon emissions across our building portfolio. The other biggest one, which is a letdown, but I'm a big believer that even bad data can be used for good. The city adopted an energy action plan in 2017, so pre my time, and they had a goal in there of 0.5% yearly reduction in residential energy use from 2015 to 2030. We are pretty painfully behind that goal. So Xcel Energy gave us this spreadsheet of here's the baseline, here's kind of where you should be each year to reach your 2030 goal. And so we looked at what our goal is and what it actually was for 2022. And we are over 6 million kilowatt hours over where we should be. And for MMBTU, which is kind of that overall general energy use look, we're 72,000 over. So we have some work to do, and this low-income energy efficiency plan will definitely help us shave some of that red zone off, hopefully. Okay, so what is energy burden? Why are we even kind of looking at that for our low-income communities specifically? An energy burden is when a home's energy cost is above 6% of a household's income. And so this data that you see on the right is from the Department of Energy's LEAD tool, and it's hyperlinked in the plan. But if you guys can't have access to it, let me know. I can send you the link. And so this really breaks down by census group. It's pretty interesting data about what our specific community's burden is. Looking at the top one, you see that it is largely our 0 to 30% AMI Englewood residents who are energy burdened and paying the most. And then that bottom chart, we dive deeper. Okay, we're looking at 0 to 30% AMI, but now we're getting into the actual buildings. Christina had flagged something to me, which I now totally agree with. It's a little confusing because they're separate, electric and gas. Add those together in the group, and that's that total energy burden. So for that 1 unit detached, it's not 6% for that electricity, it's actually 9% because you're combining both of them. So as you can see, our 0 to 30%, we have energy burden across the board of single family and multifamily in there. So we have a lot of work to do. And the one thing I want to say with energy burden, there's a lot of reasons for energy burden. One of the ones that I like to let people think about is that when you have more access to funds and more like privilege to these funding mechanisms, that's when you look for, ooh, that smart thermostat that'll save me more money in 9 months. That makes sense for me. Whereas your low-income Englewood neighbor who's looking like, how am I going to put food on the table, is not going to buy a smart thermostat over getting groceries.
It's true.
Okay, so we know the why, we know the background, so what was the process for this plan? So it's 2023, so luckily a lot of work that you want to do in the community has already kind of been done, so you don't have to recreate the wheel. The Department of Energy, again, in partnership with state and local governments, has this program called Clean Energy for Low-Income Communities Accelerator, or Celica. And it's a webpage with a host of resources. If you're ever bored and want to look at it, it's really great. So this is kind of our starting point, and it helps ask a lot of questions that are important when looking at a strategy like this. So who are the players in the field, in this energy efficiency field? Like, who are the nonprofits and the government agencies that really help in this area? What is your relationship with those programs? Who do you currently serve? Who are you missing? A lot of those things. So we went through those exercises. We then did program participation analysis, which I'm going to get to in 2 slides from now, more in depth, about the current programs we have and how has Englewood participated in those programs. We then did stakeholder interviews with each and every energy efficient provider that we identified. And some of the questions we asked is, what is our current and past relationship that we had with you all? We asked for tips on, what they would like to see in an outreach strategy that the city's creating, and just really dove into it. And then we also did community outreach. What would a community outreach strategy be without actually asking the community what they want? So we conducted an energy efficiency survey. You can see what that survey looks like in the appendix at the back of the plan. This was in both English and Spanish. And what we did to go out into the community, we wanted to make sure that it was hitting the right communities that needed to be heard from. So hopefully everyone knows about Neighborhood Nights. Madeline Hinkis, our neighborhood resource coordinator, puts it on, and it's awesome. So something that we did, we looked at census data and what areas had the lowest income, and where were their parks either in or near. So we did a Neighborhood Nights. I was there with the energy efficiency survey at Cushing and Baker. Folks got a $10 Nixon's gift card if they filled out the survey as well. And then also to ensure that we heard from the mobile home community, me, Madeline, and a public information officer went door to door to 5 of our 7 mobile home parks. The only reason we didn't hit all 7 is just because of time. And we had the same exact survey for them in English and Spanish. We had a translator on the phone if anyone needed it, to hear from them too about what they want to see and what's needed. And I will say that was probably my favorite outreach one that I've done so far.
How many responses were you able to gather?
Ooh, actually, no, I have that. It was well over 30. Yeah, we had a pretty good participation, but I can get that exact number for you. So I'm going to go over this slide pretty quick because I think we're all pretty well versed because we had some speakers from these programs.
Yeah.
The only one I will highlight, maybe that will be a little bit different, it's Colorado's Affordable Residential Energy or CARE program through Energy Outreach Colorado, which is a nonprofit. This program is very similar to WAP, but one thing here is that it's for low to mid income folks. It has or actually over a double income eligibility than WAP. So much more participation could be had there. And then the multifamily affordable housing weatherization program through Excel. Think of more of that as like a whole building envelope that's really for like the owners of these very big multifamily ones. And then the Mile High Youth Corps, hopefully everyone's heard of this. They're such a great organization. They just do essentially like free energy audits and water assessments for lower income eligible households. All right, so what has Englewood's participation been in these programs? Not great. I want to start off with the good. Our energy efficient Englewood program that Nancy runs has had full participation year over year over year. It's very popular. I think this just shows how, 1, awesome Nancy is, and 2, how needed energy efficiency programs are. For the weatherization, the data that they gave me was mainly on the county versus state scale. So apparently there was over $500,000 funding that wasn't utilized through that weatherization program in 2022. One question Christine had, which I think is a really good one, is does that mean that $500,000 would have gone to us if we would have used it, or what does that mean? That's the question I'll definitely reach out to her to get more further information on. Grid Alternatives, who you all heard from for the free solar, we had 3 out of 14. That's pretty good. But another big one I want to highlight here is that CARE one. That's a low to mid. So you have a much bigger pool that you can reach. And we have 1 out of 600 in 2022. That's kind of astoundingly low. And then one other thing I want to highlight too is in these interviews I had with each of these organizations, when I asked them, what has our relationship as a city been? Many of them, CARE included, said, we don't really have a relationship with the city currently. We don't really partner on stuff that much. So I think that could definitely be a room for improvement there. So what are the outreach results? So we asked the question of, if you haven't used any of these programs, why? And 62% of people had no idea these programs even existed. 9% said they weren't sure if they were eligible. 14% said they weren't sure. And this is totally assumption, but I think a lot of people that actually should have fallen under the unsure of eligibility. I think a lot of people don't know that the eligibility for CARE is so high. So I think that probably melds a little bit together. And then we only had 5% of folks said that they just don't need it, which is pretty low. These I'll go over fast because I actually don't know if they're the most relevant. So we asked what energy upgrades they really needed right now. Windows came in very high, heaters and doors. A lot of people get their resources from Facebook, Instagram, kind of the top ones. But then this one, so we asked, how can we as a city help improve connecting you to these programs? And everyone's answers actually really nicely fell into these buckets. The biggest one being just like better and or increased communication of these programs. They said send direct mail was 31%, and then 25% just said send out emails. Okay, so now to touch on the 4 case studies of other communities and their programs. So this first one is Denver's Healthy Homes program. So this is a program that works with income qualified households to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, improve air quality, and reduce exposure to pollutants. They do a lot with electrification, and they really have this like whole home kind of approach to it instead of just electrification. Something I really like is that they work with mobile homes as well. This is something that I meant to bring up earlier, is that the programs that serve mobile homes are far and few. I think the weatherization program, if I'm remembering correctly, is the only one that I saw that worked with mobile homes. So yeah, this program gives a lot of benefits. They give free air quality tests, free upgrades if it addresses an air quality problem. So think of like a gas stove change into electric if they see that's a need. And they really do the step-by-step support for the whole process. This one, I know it's a lot of words. I'm going to synthesize it really small. I thought this was a really great case study of the power of partnerships. And also I really wanted to highlight a case study with mobile homes. So in 2021, the Colorado Energy Office helped 5 mobile homes in Eagle County go from propane to fully electric through multiple partnerships and utilizing the Weatherization Assistant Program. So they helped these residents reduce electricity costs by 26%, eliminate $60 per month in propane cost, and they saved households on average $110 per month on utility bills and helped them overall with their air quality too. The city of Westminster, I feel like this one kind of mimics maybe the current situation that the city of Englewood is in. So in 2022, the city of Westminster's Sustainability Office initiated a partnership with Energy Outreach Colorado. That's the one that has the CARE program. They provided $8,000 in funding, and they unlocked $46,000 in Excel rebates, and were able to help 7 homes, which originally they only had 1. And then the last case study is the City of Boulder, their Smart Regs program. So in 2010, the City of Boulder made energy efficiency standards part of their rental housing requirements. And so all of these rental housing units had to demonstrate that they were as efficient as buildings built in 1999. And this program applies to long-term license rental from single homes all the way to large apartment buildings.
Why 99? It's almost 25 years ago.
Yeah, I know, but even with 1999, they still had a lot of people that needed to get switched over, but I'm not sure why they picked 1999. But I could definitely ask them. But they had,
Hard to get higher than that because the buildings were so old and so energy efficient and the codes have just advanced so much since then.
And I also think at the time of of this, it looks like they did it in 2010, so it was only a 10-year difference.
Sorry to interrupt you though.
oh, no, you're good. And they had really great results at the end of 2018. I couldn't find anything after that. At the end of 2018, they said that the program saved 1.9 million kilowatts of electricity. Remember that we're almost 7 million kilowatts above where our goal should be for residential. And they save $520,000 in energy costs.
Can you go back one? Will you walk me through again how they unlock? So it says the EOC partnership, and that initial 8,000 is what unlocked the 46. It's pretty good ROI.
And I can ask them, the Energy Outreach Colorado, like if you want to see kind of a breakdown of what they did for that 46,000.
Like a no-brainer.
All right, so now getting into the multifamily aspect of it. So I want to start by looking at this infographic on the right. This is from ACE, the American Council for Energy Efficiency. They're really awesome. They have a ton of resources. So this is a graph showing the annual potential savings from making multifamily buildings more energy efficient. Colorado, we're in the second highest category. If you look at the bottom, I know it's a little small. So there's a lot of potential there to get some energy and financial savings by retrofitting our buildings. So Colorado, I'm pretty sure recognized this, and I'm sure this is one of the many reasons why they passed HB 21-1286. So this requires Colorado's largest buildings, so 50,000 square feet or more, to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 7% by 2026 and 20% by 2030 compared to their 2021 levels. I will say the Civic Center is above 50,000. I actually do our reporting for the city for this, so yeah.
And
if you want to kind of visualize how big 50,000 is.
The whole city's goal was 0.5%.
For residential, 0.5% by 2030 each year. Yeah. So they said if buildings do not comply, they'll be fined $2,000 for this first violation and $5,000 for subsequent violations. So not reducing your energy load, I don't think is going to be as financially beneficial to these larger buildings as much anymore. Christine also brought up a good point earlier, how many 50,000 square feet multifamily buildings do we really have? How impactful is this? I'm not sure off the top of my head, but it's nice to know that that kind of is a little bit taken care of, at least in 2026 and beyond. And Englewood has a high rentership population, so it's really important to look at how energy efficiency outreach to low-income communities. You can't just look at single family. We have a lot of people in multifamily.
Mel, does this apply to like hospitals? I mean, pretty much anything that's large, 50,000 square feet or
Yep,
more?
any building that's over 50,000. Because we're a government building and we apply. So I would be shocked if a hospital building didn't apply. Mm-hmm. All right, so now. Oh, Christine, go ahead.
They do have to, but they have different goals because the goals are sector by sector. And so they looked at the potential for how much hospitals in general could reduce and what the best hospitals are doing. And so a hospital doesn't have to meet the same goals as an office building or a multifamily building or a hotel.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so from that now is Englewood's proposed strategy, and I'll go over each of these in these slides. So the first goal we have is to leverage and strengthen partnerships with local serving nonprofits around energy assistance and efficiency. How we want to do that is to aim to provide and or secure funding to partner with industry nonprofit or profits in order to increase energy efficiency retrofits completed in Englewood in 2025. Another goal is to increase resident participation in current energy efficiency programs. We're really aiming to see a year-over-year increase in Englewood participation in these programs. The next goal, proposed goal, is to initiate specific education outreach campaigns for different housing types. So the first one deals with mobile homes. So work with Englewood mobile home communities to coordinate outreach around current energy efficiency offerings that suit their needs, conducting at least one outreach effort a year. I'll say when we did the door-to-door in the mobile home community, there's just so many different needs there. I think hearing actually from them each year about kind of what would work best for them would be best coming from them. The second is to reach 100% compliance in multifamily buildings, 50,000 square feet or more, that with the state's building performance standards by 2030. So they have to meet these anyways, but really helping to ensure if any of those larger buildings are struggling, what can the city do to really help them meet compliance? The third one is essentially to work with Excel for those smaller buildings under 50,000 for multifamily that are exempt from kind of going under this performance standards, and how can we help them increase their own energy efficiency too. I did hear from some folks, and this is all just what folks are speculating, that 50,000 from the state as time goes on is going to lower in square footage. So it'll actually just be helpful to kind of get ahead of that and help our community get ahead of that. And then finally, we have ensure continued 100% participation rate in the E3 grant program that Englewood does.
How big are some of our schools?
Like square footage wise? Ooh, I have no
Are they
idea.
well over that 50,000?
I have no idea. All right, and the final one. Yeah, Christine, go for it.
My understanding is schools don't have to comply with the reductions until they do a major upgrade, costing over a certain amount or affecting over a certain square footage.
Right.
All right, then we have our final goal. So this is make finding information on available energy efficiency programs easy, accessible, and frequent to Englewood residents. We have 4 aims here. So we have 1, have a recognized energy efficiency partner specialized in low-income programs attend at least 2 Englewood events to educate and encourage residents to participate in the programs. The second one we're actually currently in the works of is to create this landing page on a website with all available energy efficiency programs for residents to take advantage of, kind of this like one-stop shop of what's available to them. This third one, at least once a year, post income eligibility requirements for different energy efficiency programs on city social media channels or some other way to get a hold of folks. This is something I forgot to bring up earlier. One thing in the research of looking at all these programs was how unbelievably confusing, even for me, learning what different programs income eligibility was. And I realized it's because they're using different metrics. So one program uses HUD, one program uses, it's like CHFI, and you can't kind of pinpoint where you are with that. And that's where this huge confusion is coming from. So finding a way to make that more straightforward for folks so you can just look at a chart and say, okay, I'm eligible, okay, I'm not. And then the last one we have, at least once a year, include information on energy efficiency programs in the Englewood magazine and newsletter.
Is once a year enough? We have so much ground to make up.
True. I put once a year just for, because I'm not sure capacity of what can go in the magazine, but I can absolutely tweak that, talk to the communications team of like what would be accessible. Another option too is now that we're having that quarterly sustainability e-newsletter, having stuff in there, which I have currently in that resource tab at the bottom of it.
How is the council newsletter disseminated?
How
is the city newsletter disseminated?
So the newsletter goes, the physical copy that everyone gets at their door, and then it also goes out virtually too.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Could you put it in here?
Yeah, in the.
It might not be developed on time, but for December, or is this?
So one thing I did do for this newsletter was at the bottom, there's this like resource repository And under energy, I did link all these programs that are currently available there.
There it is. Sorry.
But yeah, now, this is kind of the point. I would love to open it up for discussion of you all, like, of these ideas of what you like, of what you don't like. And please do not hold back. This can only get better if people kind of look at it with a critical eye.
I think the needles, it really needs to be moved on single-family homes. And I'm not really seeing that much dedicated to that in here. And that's why I asked about the newsletter, because I think that, you know, people open energy, they're gonna open their utility bill, okay? They're gonna see, oh my God. Why can't we put something in the utility bill that points to that?
I forgot to add, Nancy and I are working on a utility bill insert for the energy efficiency programs too. That was my last tip, but that I totally forgot.
For these initial numbers, are they population normalized or weather normalized? Like if our population increases, if these are just gross values, then it makes sense that the numbers won't decrease year over year. Do you know?
For the energy reduction one?
For what Excel is saying is 2015 baseline versus 2022?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I will say, when you're looking at, when I looked at 2021 actual to goal, it was actually a much bigger discrepancy than we're seeing now. So it's shrinking, like it is shrinking already, which is great. We're just behind.
Okay.
And I want to say when this plan was done in 2015, I think the population probably was around like 32, 34. I don't think much has added since 2015.
Okay.
But I can
Oh,
look
no,
into
we've
that.
had probably 3,000
So if we're currently at,
population increases,
Increase.
so if we're
2
at,
or 3,000.
yeah, we're at like 36 now, so I bet it would be like 32,000.
Okay.
And I'll also say on top of that too, the city of Boulder has reduced their energy consumption but increased their population.
Okay.
So it's not something that can't be done.
Fair.
It's a good question though.
But I think that's good to, I can reach out to Excel and ask more questions about that to put it in the plan, because I'm sure everyone's gonna be asking that same thing too.
But yeah, I guess if you're looking at an overall trend, then if you have 1 year that goes up and it's going up across the board, then that's still indicative of an increase.
Mel, what would you attribute this increase in energy use to? Is it just we're using more energy, where our homes are just generally aging, and we're not aware as a citizenry of these programs to make our homes more efficient? What, I mean, or is it, we've grown a little bit, population-wise, but not exponentially. Just in your opinion?
Oh my gosh, that would be total speculation. I almost want to ask Christine, because she's our energy efficiency whiz, if she knows.
Can you repeat the question? Why is it going, why having to do with our population growth?
I'm just looking, generally speaking, like looking at these, the 2015 baseline, and why are we trending in the wrong direction? What would we attribute that to? Is it as simple as energy use primarily in across the board or residential, or is it, where is this
I don't know either.
really coming from?
I don't know
Is
either.
is the MMBTUs, is that the total energy or is this just the natural gas? So are we looking at electricity and natural gas separated?
MMBTU would be that kilowatt and therm together to make your total
It is
energy
total,
use.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's something I can reach out to Excel to see if maybe they're seeing a trend of what other communities are seeing for why it's raising.
Yeah, because the one I could see is with people electrifying, yes, okay, our electricity use would increase, but we would see a decrease in natural gas use, but
You would think.
I don't know. It's surprising, especially compared to 2015.
Wouldn't you think the pandemic would jump into this thing too?
You would think there'd be a pretty significant.
Yeah, we were
People
all
staying at
home.
home for an entire year and a half.
A lot of pandemic data that you'll see influences like 2020 and 2021. 2022, people are kind of starting to go back to their natural trends of things. Definitely not pre-pandemic numbers, but I know when we were doing our greenhouse gas inventory, all local governments basically like avoided doing a greenhouse gas inventory for 2020, because they were like, that just won't even be indicative of our
We
community.
do know that many people never went back to work. They were still working at home. So it's not, you know.
Yeah.
Can I offer a comment?
Yeah, that's what this is for.
I want to be fair and I want to offer critical feedback, but I don't want it to sound like a criticism. I know a lot of work.
I want the criticism. Let's
Those
hear
A
guys-
it.
lot of
Yeah.
work
I got
has
the-
gone into this, so I want to cheer you on. Easiest thing in the world is be an armchair quarterback, tell you what's not perfect,
Yeah.
but that's what I want to do. I look at it more simply, which is more is better. The more people who take advantage of these programs and services, the better it is for sustainability and for a whole lot of other reasons. So my critical feedback is we've got a bunch of spaghetti on the wall. This is all fascinating, but it's Greek to me, and you've studied it, and you've even said it's hard to explain this unit of measurement and this program and eligibility. I think the challenge is a marketing advertising challenge. I think the challenge is, you know, the simple message is somebody's got a blanket and they're shivering and it says, are you cold? You want some help? Call this number. And then I think there should be a clearinghouse or a clearinghouse person who can sort and sift and say, oh, you need to, this. I don't see any glue. Lots of effort, well-intentioned effort. And if you could magically just make it all happen and more people would do it, but ultimately that's what we want. And so I look at this and I think, I can't make hide nor hair of it. And I'm sitting here trying to understand it. How in the world can John Q. Public make hide? They need help. And I don't know whether it's a counselor, a volunteer, a clearinghouse. Maybe Englewood should hire a person that call this number, tell them your story, and then they can give you guidance on where to go and who to talk to.
So you're thinking like a city navigator of
Yes.
just energy efficiency programs though, or are you talking, like, walk
Yeah.
me through that a little bit, I guess?
I mean, if I had a neighbor who said, hey, is there anything on in Englewood with energy efficiency? I would say, yeah, but I couldn't explain it to you. I want to, but I can't do it. And there's nobody right now in Englewood, maybe you, and maybe not you. This is complicated.
Point.
This is complicated.
I think that's where that landing house webpage though, that one page could be a step, right? It's not a solution by any means. But if someone's talking to someone in the Sustainability Commission and is like, I really want to look at energy efficiency programs, you can say, oh, the city already has a full webpage where everything you need to know, you can do that research. Because currently we don't have that. We have everything kind of like all over.
Well,
Actually, not even listed for some
and even
stuff.
if you had the webpage, how do you read the darn webpage? There's such a thing as information dumping. And if you take a bunch of spaghetti and throw it on the wall, it doesn't help. Each strand makes sense, but if it's not tied together, go pick a strand off the wall and good luck. This is a communication challenge to me. I think these programs are great. How do you get people to understand them and use them?
Who's our PIO?
Crystal, so she works in the police department.
Or she could take on a little contract work. I agree with the idea, the sentiment that this is a lot. And a navigator, a point person, a website with everything there, and that would be immensely helpful. And when will the website be? When do you suspect it'll be?
It's on my ever-growing list. I can't put a date on it. It's on there though.
This is all such good information that I'm not sure leaves this room very efficiently, at least.
Let me ask you the flip side of this. Why is E3 so successful?
I will say, Christine, I want to acknowledge your hand is up too. Nancy has been the administrator for a long time and
She's passionate about it.
and she's really good at it, but also I think they're marketing probably, so I can tap in with her, like, what are you doing there and how can we kind of partner with that one?
Well, that's the one that Inglewood owns. You know,
Mhm.
it's the one program that we own. We market it ourselves, you know, it goes out in the magazine, goes out on the, so we feel some ownership of that and therefore market it in a way that, you know, the Arapahoe County Weatherization Program is not getting that level of marketing.
And we have a point person inside that can answer questions when you call the city, because Nancy will answer questions, right?
Yeah, I think you bring up a great point, right? Like, we're gonna prioritize advertising the E3 over really pushing like Energy Outreach Colorado's program. You know, it's like our home-based program.
I understand that it's our program and we want to be proud of that and we want to see utilization. But if some of these other programs save the city more money, we should be pushing those equally, if not more.
Absolutely, I think it needs to be pushed more, for sure.
I know I'm preaching to the choir.
Christine, I see your hand's up.
Sorry, Christine, I didn't totally forgot about that. Sorry.
I was thinking along the same lines as you, Logan and Michael, about how can we expand the effectiveness of the E3 program. And it seems like we could go a lot further with it, considering Arapahoe County provides weatherization and energy efficiency for low-income homes, and Excel Energy provides weatherization and energy efficiency for low-income homes. And there's the CARE program, and the state is getting a whole bunch of extra money for weatherization from the federal government. And given all those that are doing very similar things as our E3 program, maybe we could use our own Inglewood money maybe more effectively instead of duplicating what we could kind of get for free from Arapahoe County and Excel and CARE and the state. I don't know, for example, homeowners that aren't eligible for Arapahoe County's weatherization, like maybe they don't meet the income requirements, or certain upgrades that aren't eligible for Arapahoe counties, like cooling systems aren't eligible. Or something to do with rentals, because typically if you're in a rental, you're not eligible. Or something like going block by block or tackling one mobile home park, or something, instead of just randomly helping 10 households a year, which is something, but it seems like we could use other people's money for those and then redirect our money to go even further. And I really liked that Westminster case study that you found, Mel, where they basically got like 6 or 7 houses for the price of R1, just by finding the right experts that would unlock the other funding. And sorry, I think that's maybe farther afield than the strategy, which was supposed to be focused just on outreach. So I recognize that maybe we could do a parallel effort for how we could improve our programs along with just getting the word out about them.
Maybe this is over the top, but another way of thinking of it is you can put an invitation outside the door and ring the bell and invite people to come in for dinner or for whatever it is you want them to do. Or you can create a sales strategy. You can go out and knock on doors. You can sell it. One of the things that this doesn't have, constructive, I don't see a strategy or a methodology. I see well intentions. I see high energy. I see lots of work. If you turn, I'm making this up, but if you turned it around and said, we are going to contract with somebody and they're going to sell it, and they may even get paid based on how many sales they make. I wonder, because there's a whole different approach if you're knocking on a door saying, I'm a Fuller brush man and I want to sell you a brush, it's different than saying, you can get a brush down at the end of the street. And I'm just saying, there's a passivity here, which I get, but for dollar invested, I don't know the answer to this. I wonder if Englewood said, we want to push this and we want to hold people accountable and we want to see it go up by X. Just a different way of looking at it.
But wouldn't you say that's exactly what provide and or secure funding to partner with these nonprofits would be? Because that's what Energy Outreach Colorado did. They provided them $8,000 and they go out into the community and they really help engage with the community for the program. So I see what you're saying that you really want is already up there in my eyes.
Yeah.
How do they do that? How do they go out? Do we know?
The nitty gritty of their process, I'm not sure. I could definitely ask how they do it. I will say Energy Outreach Colorado, Mile High Youth Corps, these are organizations that have worked and been in their communities for a long time. They know these communities really well and they know who to partner with to contact them really well. And getting contacted from them, for a lot of times lower income communities do not want to be contacted directly from the government. There's a distrust there. In a lot of these disadvantaged communities, it's valid distrust of government from other communities that they've been in. So it helps partnering with someone like this that diffuses that, that fear to be able to access these programs.
But we don't know if they go door to door talking to people.
I'm not sure. I can find out though.
I'm just
absolutely can.
asking because I think that's what we're talking about, is one-on-one outreach to people who are in need, to that percentage AMI that really do need the help. They need to be contacted with this information.
That's an outreach you want to see, is kind of more of that door-to-door, getting on the ground, talking to folks.
I think that if we have identified a percentage, an AMI percentage that can be gone after, that we know are at risk, then those people could be reached or reached out to specifically, you know.
Matt?
One way I heard that they reach out to households is by their network with other local community partners, which would be like a food bank, and maybe a lot of people coming regularly to the food bank could also benefit from this.
Cafe 180 partnership or something. Matthew, you got your hand raised?
Yeah, I think to build on that point there that Christine just had, I think some of this is getting information out to people in the right setting. So folks that are interested in sustainability but may not know these resources exist. I didn't know until I joined this commission, and so I think that's one thing. The other thing is, I think Mel, in general, I think the presentation is really solid, and it's also a proposed strategy. And I think a lot of what we're trying to solve here are the tactical things of how we would accomplish this strategy. But this is more, to me, this is meant to be more high level overview of what our goals are, and that we have time after this strategy is adopted to figure out how we actually get there. So just wanted to say I appreciate all the effort that went into this, and I think I don't have any suggested edits.
No, I think this is really good. Yeah. I think those case studies really shed some light on paths forward, possible avenues.
Can I recommend some changes for verbiage in the introduction? Okay. In 2023, the City of Englewood Sustainability Plan was updated with, I would take out an update being the addition, I would say updated with an additional project beneath the energy goal. I think it reads a little bit cleaner.
Do we need that second column? Anyway.
This is the beauty of recording meetings, is I'm like, go back to an hour 12.
I hope you're feeling the support from this group.
Yes, and the feedback is really helpful. And I want you guys to know too that it's not like this is going to city council next month. We're still gonna refine this and work on it. And also just know this is an outreach strategy, right? Like how can the city do better to outreach with these communities? That's what we're trying to solve here. And if you all have any ideas, Christina, is the hand up or did it remove? Okay, perfect. I wanna pass it to you then.
Yeah, I wanted to say you did such a good job at preparing this, and it does a really good job of laying out the current situation and the challenges and the existing programs, which I think is definitely the right place to start. So good job and kudos for all that. And I had one small suggestion about the outreach strategy itself. It was looking like some of those are targets and some of them are more like actions. Like a project would be, securing funding. An action would be securing funding from a nonprofit, but a target is more like reaching year over year growth and participation or something. So I wonder if maybe we need to separate out the actions from the targets.
I can absolutely do that.
I think that's sort of what I was trying to get at too. You said it better than me, is that there seems to be a mix here of actions and strategy and tactics. And so I do think that's, thanks for clearing that up. That was what I was trying to say.
Great. Well, if you all have, I know my best thinking comes at like 11:30 at night. If you all think of anything, email me, or if you want more information about something didn't make sense, email me and I'll follow up kind of with some of those other questions, like how many participants were in the survey. I can do kind of that exact data and send it to you all.
Now, last question. I know we're out of time for this topic.
Yes.
This is targeted low-income energy. Is the city walking and chewing gum and targeting residential as well? I mean, not low income, because it seems like that's are they the, without completely butchering this, are they who's spending the most energy in the city? I mean, is it residential homeowners?
So the most energy for a building, this is on our greenhouse gas inventory. Commercial sector is pretty big, at least for I'm thinking of our greenhouse gas inventory. Energy use there is really large, and it's not saying that commercial sector is bad by any means. We have a really robust, healthy commercial sector here, so they use a lot of energy. Think about like Swedish and Craig, those are huge buildings, They use a lot. So a lot could be done by reducing energy in the commercial sector, but residential is still very large.
I guess I was also thinking about that is, I know we're trying to add context to it and a citywide understanding, but if this is a low income outreach strategy, it feels sort of unfair to lump them into this. Like, I feel like you would use a very minimal amount of energy compared to the rest of the residents of Englewood. So I don't know, that was a thought popping around my head. It's like, I get the idea of adding context to it of Englewood's sustainability and energy action plan, but I don't know if the low income households are the ones contributing that many KW.
Are they the biggest offenders of energy use?
And
You said
change
that better
that,
than
does
I
that move the needle on that?
Yeah.
But this is a lot of good work, a lot of time and effort into this, which this has a fantastic equity lens, and this should be pursued. When it comes to energy efficiency, is this demographic, are they the biggest offenders?
Yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up actually, because the whole point of this plan really is to say there's programs there, the energy burden, it's a high financial cost, right? We want to bring down that financial part of it. But you're totally right, having that kilowatt in the beginning makes it seem like they're part of this issue when their footprint for energy use probably is exceedingly low.
Right.
So I think that definitely needs to be worked where it doesn't seem like that is falling on them,
I know.
because it shouldn't be.
I
So
see
that's
it
a
both
really
ways
good
now.
flag to have.
And if I could add to that, if we know the demographics of Englewood, and we know that District 1 has more low-income residencies than District 4. Shouldn't there be some type of targeting strategy that says, if we're gonna go door to door anywhere, we're gonna go door to door in District 1 or District 2? You see what I'm getting at? It's back to methodology.
Yeah,
That
we have
every
census
district
data.
isn't the same, every residence. I can tell you, if you walk around District 1, you could look at a house and have a pretty good guess that they could use some help. And you could put a flyer on their door. And the flyer says, you want some help paying your bills? There's some great that's a methodology. And I think I'd love to see more methodology in targeting, particularly in the residential area, because all districts are not the same. And Joe, you can speak to that better than any of us, but different neighborhoods have different needs.
Yeah, so something I thought of when you said that, so maybe making it more specific, so when we say, we want to have, 1 to 2 of these representatives for the event, maybe it says specifically in the lower income areas events. So that could definitely be added.
Final thoughts on this?
Good feedback, everybody. Now,
Yeah, thank
Mel has
you.
to make sense of it.
Oh, it all makes sense. It all makes perfect sense. And thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Lots of work. I mean,
Thanks for bringing it in front of us, Mel.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a staff
Yeah.
person of 1, I see you guys as like my extended colleagues. So,
Yeah.
so I appreciate it.
Okay, where are we? I'm gonna pull an all-nighter here tonight.
Nah, it's only 7:45. We're good.
Okay.
We'll be done here by 8.
We covered the newsletter enough?
Quarterly sustainability newsletter review. Yes, I think.
We covered that,
Yep.
so I guess.
Can I jump in on that real quick?
Yeah?
Page 4, you've got a typo.
I know you guys wouldn't believe it, but in college I was an English tutor, and then when you get time strapped, I'm like, I don't care anymore. You said page 4?
Page 4, where it says, a city engaged in
Sustainability.
sustainability.
Sustainability. I'll change that. Perfect. Content though, look good to you guys, nothing?
Yeah.
It does look
Looks
good.
good.
I appreciate
Really
you sharing. I think that, yeah, it
Yeah.
looks good.
That's awesome.
Good show, good show.
Okay.
I think you're still on, Mel.
Really? Oh my gosh.
The Mel Show.
Okay, city updates, I'll make this fast. You all know we won the turf replacement grant again, so we get an increase. Last year we served 11 homes. This year we're gonna serve 30, so in total, that's 41 homes, which is really awesome. We had a business event on the 2nd where we were educating, but also listening to the business community about the 2024 plastic bag and polystyrene ban. We had a representative from the Colorado Restaurant Association there, which was really awesome. And then finally, we have plastic bag fee enhancement funds going in front of City Council on November 20th. Something that we put in there is a small business grant to help small businesses during this transition away from polystyrene products. Well, I think it's a huge win for the state. I also very much worry about mom and pop shops that are gonna be impacted by this. So we're seeing if City Council will let us use the funds to help us. And yeah, that is my really fast updates.
Okay.
Any questions there, I guess?
Good show, good show. All right, December meeting, ideas, topics, issues. Anybody have thoughts or suggestions?
When's the city budget due, or the draft? Or
We did the budget.
he's already done.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did that before the recall case.
Good move. I was just curious, yeah, if there are already line items for 2024, if we needed to get those in, but it solves that.
Oh yeah, the one thing I was gonna bring up here is that each year, there's the annual report to City Council. So I was
Oh, yeah.
thinking for December, it would probably be good to talk about what you all want to see in there. I can kind of do a draft because I keep a list of all the accomplishments for the Sustainability Commission. But yeah, it could just be a discussion of what you all want to see in that.
Yeah, accomplishments and what's on the docket would be a good annual report. Cool. Other December meeting idea?
Profuse adult beverages.
Just don't let me know about it.
Creative thinking.
Are we moving on, sorry?
No, probably
We can-
so you can, yeah.
We can backfill the December idea. Leaf recycling event was a success. There were 2 folks from Littleton.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and me. And it was pretty cold, but got there early and they had donuts, and it was great. Initial rush, they had the line like kind of snaking out back towards Santa Fe, but after the initial rush of about an hour, it was pretty slow. And so I think I was there for maybe 3 hours. It was good. I hadn't bagged my leaves yet, so I need to go drop them off this week. But what are they called? Their name, it's
A1 Organics.
A1 Organics.
Mhm.
They're fantastic.
Yeah, they are.
They're just a great group of guys running that yard. So just wanted to plug. It's a good event. I quickly signed up for the only volunteer slot this year. So sorry everybody, I won't do it next year. So you should jump on it. It's good. Just wanted to plug
There was
that.
supposed to be another person there with you, so that's good to know that you didn't show up.
Did it take place over 1 day or 2 days, or how did they do it?
So the volunteer was 1 day, but it's a new thing that started last year. Instead of just having a 1 day and everyone cram packing it, they spread it over 10-ish days. So you could go at any point. It is over now.
Okay,
But yeah.
okay, just
We're
curious.
gonna be doing
I think
that
that really helped. I think they actually, I was talking to the guy, he's like
Clinton?
6'8". He's just a huge human being. I don't look up to many people, but, and he was saying that them spreading it, they actually had to, they got the cops called on them because they were impeding traffic along Santa Fe.
That's
Because it was
when
so
they
popular.
switched it, yeah.
So they spread it out and
Okay,
it
okay.
relieved the pressure.
Sure.
So, anyway, good event, want to plug it.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? No further discussion. I think we shall adjourn this meeting. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Bye, Matthew. Bye, Christine.
Hi, Christine.
Bye.